Servus and welcome to Flo's German Kitchen. I'm Flo, this is my kitchen, and I show you how to cook the German way. Everybody loves Jägerschnitzel, but if you travel to East Germany and you order a Jägerschnitzel in a restaurant there, you might experience a big surprise. What that looks like is what I'm showing you right now. We are making East German Jägerschnitzel. What you need for the Jägerschnitzel is a good chunk of Jagdwurst, hunt sausage, 2 eggs, breadcrumbs, ketchup, pepper, salt, onion, a bit of all-purpose flour, and of course a good guzzle of German beer. Wunderbar. I'll start with the sauce first. The East German Jägerschnitzel isn't served with the common mushroom sauce, but it's actually a tomato sauce. Why is East German Jägerschnitzel different from what you probably know? Well, if you remember some history, the times with the Berlin Wall and all that, East Germany used to be a socialist dictatorship. And those East Germans, they had quite a sense of humor. They would tell you what happens if socialism gets to the desert. 20 years, nothing, and then you run out of sand. So there was shortage everywhere, and you couldn't just go to a butcher's or to a shop and buy schnitzel every day. So they just invented their own Jägerschnitzel that is made of Jagdwurst. And speaking of Jagdwurst, it is a more, let's say, northwestern German specialty. I live in Bavaria, so I could actually not buy Jagdwurst in my butcher around the corner. So what I decided is to make my own Jagdwurst. This is homemade. And if you want to know how to make German Jagdwurst at home, just leave me a comment and tell me, and it'll come up in one of the next videos. But let's get back to the sauce. I've chopped the onions, and that's already all I have to do for preparations. So I set up the stove and see you in a minute. So here we are. This is my little pot. I just added some vegetable oil already, and first thing you do is you start sweating the onions. Sweating for me means you don't roast them, you don't want them to get brown or anything. Just, let them sweat for a while. And I'm not using too much heat for that, just because, I don't want them to get brown. So this is enough already. I add some all-purpose flour and roast it with the onions. Later on, that's going to thicken the sauce. Done already, and now I think I forgot to introduce that. This is actually simple ketchup. As I said, people had to be creative, and so this is what they made for a tomato sauce. And even today this is being served in East German school canteens, working canteens. You add a little water for the sauce not to be too thick. This is actually something that I haven't ever tried before, so for me this is going to be a surprise as well. Usually I do my tomato sauce not with ketchup, I do it with tomato puree and some other ingredients. But let's see what this is going to taste like. It is pretty thick. I think this tastes a bit like ketchup with the onions. And I had a little pepper. So As you can see, I'm pretty curious about that as well. I've never done it before. So we are having a premiere together. Okay, I've placed the sauce on the stove behind me to keep it warm. I've also started boiling some water because we're having pasta with the East German Jägerschnitzel. Something, fun fact about the pasta, you would probably consider this being fusilli, Italian pasta, fusilli. But remember, we are talking about socialist East Germany. Italy was the West, so Italian was the language of the enemy. They couldn't call it fusilli. But at the same time, they wanted to give that a little Italian touch, so they just invented some fancy Italian sounding word for that and called it spirelli. I'll put that in the pot and then we're gonna make schnitzel. The pasta is boiling, so let's get to the actual schnitzel. And the process is pretty much the same as if you are doing real schnitzel. The only thing is I spare myself of using wheat flour for the first step. And also, as the Jagdwurst is a pretty spicy sausage, you don't need to put any extra spices, neither in the egg nor in the breading, nor add something on the sausage. So it is just eggs and breadcrumbs. Number one. It is a little easier than making a real schnitzel because, yeah, that sausage, of course, is very, very sturdy. So we're almost done already. So that's it, time for me to set off my stove. So this is the first time I'm making this and I don't have any experience in frying pieces of sausage. But as these slices are pretty thick, I would think it's reasonable not to use too much heat so that the heat can actually get inside the sausage without the breadcrumbs completely burning. Let's see. Interesting thing is, just for the sake of the breadcrumbs, this is actually spreading some real schnitzel fragrance. That's interesting. So at least the cooks would have their real schnitzel experience when doing that. So let's check what it looks like. Ah yeah, I think this is enough, so I'll turn them around and give it another couple of minutes. Souffling this is probably completely useless, but I just can't help it. As soon as something breaded is frying in my pan, I have to shake it. Yeah, we're done. So I'm taking some of the pasta. I add some of the wonderful ketchup sauce. And of course, a little twig of parsley. So here we have it. I'm quite curious. East German Jägerschnitzel. Yeah, it even goes well together with the pasta. and the tomato sauce. So I'm really surprised. I had expected this to be an atrocity. But honestly, if you forget to expect something like a real Jägerschnitzel and just eat it for what it is, it's a nice dish that you can eat, that you can feed your family. I will feed it to my family now, see what they're saying. But yeah, I really, really like it. If you want to cook that at home, I've put a link to the video description where you can order Jagdwurst at Amazon. And if you like, I will shoot a video on how to make your own Jagdwurst at home. So subscribe to my channel, tell your friends about this channel, give me a thumbs up, and enjoy your German cooking. Cheers on German cooking, cheers on East German Jägerschnitzel. Wunderbar.